your dates.
No, no, actually, he only commits crimes on obscure holidays.
That's amazing.
Like, haha, it's Arbor Day. Time to rob this bank.
Nobody will ever catch
Don't
on.
you know what today is? It's Christopher Columbus Day. That's for your wrong calendar, man. It's actually, now it's considered National Indigenous People Day. Curse you, Batman.
All right, sweet. So that's that. That's that. Let me open up.
I blame PC culture.
His real colors show up when that happens.
Whoa, not cool, man. Why, yes.
like that video with the Joker.
Why, yes. It is a Thursday, but not just any Thursday, Batman.
It's like, whoa, man, whoa. I like the better when you kill people.
Did you see like a little bit after the credits?
No, no.
He takes off the mask. It's like, okay, wait, hold on. Hi, I'm Bruce Wayne. I just want you to know there's a person underneath here, and this is really fucked up. So yeah. Anyways, all right. Then he puts the mask on. It's like a bit after the credits. Like gets back into camera real quick.
That's awesome. Oh shit! All right, let me share.
Countdown, Joker. What is that for? Well, you know what tomorrow is, Batman.
Share to group.
I love how I love how like his voice would go from really high to really low graphically, like
yeah,
like every other word.
Send in messenger.
I don't like where this is going, Joker.
Somebody share our screen. Oh, it's just me. All right.
I downloaded Kick Batman.
TikTok. All right, ready?
TikTok Batman. Yo, I killed a guy and I'm gonna beat the fuck out of you. No,
oh yeah,
I'm just a trickster. These are just little tricks.
Oh shit! All right, here we go. Ready?
Yeah, that's fine.
Let me just make sure everything's right. Audio. We have audio, and we're here. And let me open that. And here we go.
I mean, it's technically legal, but that doesn't mean it's...
Wow, we have a lot of viewers for some reason.
Yeah, because we're talking about the Joker Batman.
The Joker Batman.
Do you know what today is?
Oh man. I keep moving my camera around. It's always changing. All right, here you go. And welcome to another episode of A Talk of Opportunity. Today, oh wait, no, I have to introduce myself. This is Jose, your host, as usual. And with me, as always, the one that never wants to leave,
the eternal guest,
Andrew.
The eternal guest. I never left your couch. I told you I was down on hard times, and you told your girlfriend he's just gonna be here for a week or two.
A couple weeks.
Yeah. And 3 years later, here I am.
Andrew, listen. I know this podcast was fun and all, but like I need you to leave my house.
But
we're trying to grow a family.
But I'm part of your family. We're like brothers.
Yeah, having the weird uncle, you know, it's not. It doesn't work if you're here all the time. Oh man. But today we are having a very special episode because we were reminiscing about like how long we've been DMing with this group or with each other or at each other.
Against each other.
And against each other. All the lessons we have learned. So we're gonna talk about that. The good, the bad, the ugly. All the things that comes with DMing.
Now, for some of you, this might be a revelation, but I know Jose's come a long way, but I want y'all to know I'm not perfect either, despite the fact that I've been having such an engrossing and enriching experience in Rhyme of the Frost Maiden. Okay, I want you to know that even I, your humble dungeon master.
So humble. I'm so humble right now.
Had to reflect on some things and realize that I too am.
Yeah, one of them was actually pretty recent, actually.
Shut the fuck up.
We gotta talk about that too.
Oh yeah, I know.
Oh man, but yes, with that, stick around after the music. It's gonna be a very long intro of like 30 seconds.
Did you choose?
Which means we lose all of our viewers.
Did you pick another stinger this time?
No, it's the same.
God.
Oh man, and as always, I don't cue it up because I am an idiot. But with that, here we go.
So after that brutal assault by the orc warrior, the initiative now goes to you. Jose, what do you do?
I'm gonna cast.
Batman.
That's how you started. All right, Andrew.
Yes.
We get to talk about all the lessons and all the things that we have learned as DMs.
We actually,
But-
well, okay,
Wait,
never mind. Yeah, I know.
Before we get too far, we have traditions here, and traditions are very important. What are you drinking today?
Well, one of the biggest lessons I learned that traditions are important so long as they only like actually have a goal in mind, and if it's just like tradition for the sake of tradition, it's actually kind of worthless. Anyways,
and Andrew, there's a goal.
so I'm having a cold brew version of Passion House. Oh, I just had it there.
You blow it out. Blow it out.
That's fine.
Are you showing us something obscene?
It's not sexy. Passion
Sexy. It's too sexy. It's too
it's
sexy.
Passion House's a night move dark roast, but I did it differently this time, and I have a bit of a story as to why. So, as you know, a Foxtail Coffee opened up close to me, and
Yes.
and I got a bottle of their cold brew, and I was like, okay, you know, I like cold brew well enough, and I poured it in a cup and I drank it, and it was like an explosion of flavor. I was like, whoa, holy crap, this is like way better than my cold brew. And I'm like, how do they get it like this? So I Googled, how does Foxtail cold brew their coffee? And I'm not kidding you, I accidentally stumbled on a Reddit post where people were like, Foxtail shit now. And I'm like, fucking
Oh my god! Of course.
fucking goddamn hipsters, you're never happy. Anyways, and actually, as it turns out, the proper way to cold brew, because how my cold brew is just a filter and a jug, and then you put the coffee grounds in said filter, and then you just kind of shake up the water, and then after a while it makes
Right.
coffee. How you're actually supposed to do it is put the coffee grounds directly in the water, and every now and then, like every like couple hours, just shake the piss out of it, and then you filter said coffee. So
Really?
yeah. So you're not supposed to filter it before, you're supposed to filter it after. And I did that, and it's actually quite good. It's not as flavorful as Foxtails, but I only did it for 12 hours as opposed to 24 hours like you're normally supposed to do, because I was like, oh shit, I like ran out of time last night. And I was like, oh god. What are you doing to yourself?
I found out there's studio effects on Zoom. Sorry, I didn't mean to like distract you, but that's interesting. That all it is just to shake it.
Yeah, you put the, and it's also a lot. It's also a lot of coffee grounds too. It's like for every 1 cup you put a quarter of a cup of coffee grounds in it.
Yeah.
So you put the coffee grounds in there. You just put I just had like a pickling jar, coffee grounds, water, properly measured. Just shake the piss out of it. Put it in the fridge every about 3 or 4 hours. Come back, shake it.
And
up.
that's how Foxtail does it.
I don't know if that's how Foxtail does it exactly. It's a trade secret, but it said that's the proper way to cold brew. Like that's the authentic way. That way you get all that flavor. Because I do notice that whenever I make the cold brew in the quick pitcher, I guess, like the first half of it is really flavorful, then the second half is like, and
If you don't shake it.
yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, you gotta shake it some more. But also there's less like direct contact with the coffee beans. So yeah, it's
Interesting.
Yeah, very.
Yeah. Well, I am so we're doing this episode a little earlier than usual, and Kristen's still like kind of asleep, so I don't want to like be making a bunch of noise and stuff. I am drinking something that doesn't require brewing. Well, it does require brewing. No, I'm just kidding. I am not drinking it here. I am drinking a Liquid Death berry flavor. The Berry It Alive.
Wait, they have
I love their naming convention. It's great.
They have a berry flavor?
They just released. They got mango, berry, and lime.
Oh, okay. I might actually.
Yeah, so this one is the Berry It Alive. Berry It Alive. Get it? Get it?
I got it.
Get it.
I might actually start drinking Liquid Death now, because I had a can before and I'm like, oh,
It's water.
it's literally just water. I mean, it's really good water, but it's literally just water.
It's just water. Yeah.
I was like,
No, I like Liquid Death mainly because of the branding. But whatchamacallit, the flavors really help. They do. It's not just like it's not like the essence of a fart of a berry.
Yeah.
It's actually they use agave nectar in it, so it does have some sugar, like 3 grams, which is very little.
Oh, okay.
But it's just enough. It has like a little extra flavoring. It's not just, oh, here's the ghost of watermelon.
The ghost of watermelon. Is that close to a watermelon while on a train?
Yeah, man, those memes were glorious back in the day.
a hint of a line.
Yeah. All right, great. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this episode. Andrew, we have been DMing, and like I said, I feel like I've said this a long time, but like I've been DMing since 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Which sounds, to me, doesn't sound like a long time ago, but that was like
6 years.
Holy crap!
Which,
like,
I know there have been some people that have been like DMing since like the TSR days, and God bless you. Like,
yeah.
just
you can go to like a monastery and become head monk in like 2 seconds. Like, the amount of patience and like togetherness that you have to do this job.
Mm-hmm.
Props to you, but it's been 6 years.
Either that or you're just a straight sociopath. There's no two ways about it.
There's no in between. No. So it feels it's crazy because it feels like it was just yesterday when I started, but it's been a while. And now reflecting back to it, I have learned a couple of different things. So it's fun to always look back and like I think we talked about it last episode when I ran Lost Mines of Fendelverse or something, or maybe a couple episodes back, and how we were thinking like it could be fun to rerun that, knowing all the things that we know now.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's kind of like what led to all of this. Like, it was a couple episodes back we were talking about it. I was like, let's just make an episode about it. But how about you, Andrew? Like, how do you feel about how long you've been DMing, and like, how do you feel about it?
Oh man, when did we start Curse of Strahd? Because that's when I'll say I've actually started DMing.
That was 2018.
So about
18.
So about 4 years now. I've started. Since I started DMing, and
yeah, but that's with that caveat though, because you started DMing that, but you've been into like deep diving into Dungeons and Dragons stuff since like.
Oh yeah, I mean I've been
way back.
I've been a player of Dungeons and Dragons, but DMing's a whole different beast altogether. Even if you do 5e, I can't imagine DMing a 3.5 game. Jesus Christ. But the important thing and I've learned a lot in those 4 years, and the thing is, the real nugget here is that you're gonna have to, if you're a brand new DM, you're gonna have to go in knowing you're going to make mistakes and knowing you're going to learn from them. So I mean, there has been a ton of times where I've been like embarrassed by my performance, or at least very much dissatisfied with it, and you just have to learn from that. You have to learn it, and sometimes it's valid, like self-criticism. It's like, oh yeah, okay, maybe I shouldn't have thrown that many scarecrows at them. Or sometimes you have to be like, I'm actually not the problem. Like, it's just, like I think I'm the problem, and really I can't expect too much from myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the hardest part of all that is to not linger on that.
Yeah. I mean,
because like I know earlier I had a tendency of just like fucking beating myself down for days. Mm-hmm. Until like the next session is like, oh, here we go again. You know what I mean? Like it's like I learned real quick to just kind of like shut it off. I'm like, yeah, whatever. We'll deal with it next time.
Oh god.
Oh god, Andrew, no.
Oh god, a coffee ground. This is it. This is it for me.
No, we need you.
Lessons we learned as DMs. Life is fleeting. But no,
and then you never finished Run with the First
that it just never finished. But it's important to know that you should learn from like the greats, like the Matt Colvilles and the Matt Mercers and the Chris Perkins. But you also have to know they've been doing this for like 30 years, and
they're like professional at it.
Yes,
that's like another level of gutness. But if you can like grasp and just grab a little bit of it and just put it on your games or on your the DMing style, more power.
So I mean, take the lessons that they bestow upon you, like watch their videos and stuff like that. Especially Matt Colville's videos. I think they're just a font of inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have to know you're not going to get to that level now.
Overnight.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the equivalent of picking up a guitar and thinking tomorrow you're going to be at Woodstock. Like, that's just not going to happen.
I never picked up a guitar and expected to just know how to play things based on Guitar Hero.
As someone that has had that expectation, it is a real humbling. Well, I mean, it'd be like, oh, how hard is it to play guitar? Oh, fuck.
It's hard.
Yeah,
my fingers hurt.
Yeah, my fingers are bleeding, and I'm bad at this. And
I hate it.
Yeah, and anyways, so yeah, no, you just it. What was it? It's 10,000 hours to truly master something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and that's why I'm taking so long finishing up Rhyme. I'm not gonna be satisfied until I've like perfected it.
and then sixth edition comes out, and you have to start over.
We don't get 6th level until my imposter syndrome goes away.
This is why it's taking so long, Andrew.
No.
Because I'll send you to therapy right now.
No, it's okay. So when did it all start? Well, back in Icewind Dale.
What's an Icewind Dale?
Behold, 10 Towns, the last bastion of civilization in this. I don't know why I'm doing the Joker voice as
You're stuck with it now.
not just any Thursday.
Oh man. All right. Well, let's start. How do you want to tackle this? Because I know we both have a list. Did you just want to go back and forth?
Yeah,
or what?
you can start.
Back and forth?
Yeah, you can start with yours, and then we can bounce off each other because we have little points on.
Yeah. So my first one is I think the one that we talked about the most in this podcast because it's pretty much what like led into this podcast. It was
pretty much
like the big So my big one is that DM burnout is a very real thing.
Yeah,
and I feel just like and before you put your 2 cents in, and I noticed this a lot because I've been listening to a lot of crit crap videos in horror stories. When I hear some of the horror stories from like the DMs about DMs and stuff, people do not realize that they're burning out. And that's what it is. To me, like it's all the symptoms of being a DM burnout. What are the symptoms of having burnout? You start not caring. It just becomes part of the routine. You just want to keep moving forward. You space out. You lose your train of thought as how you were going to lead that adventure / episode, whatever it was.
Your descriptions get a little bit more basic or vague.
Yeah. You start forgetting details that you've laid out, like little things like that. Like it's DMing is a hell of a freaking full-time job.
And also, not only that, but you'll start going for like the easy solutions. That's where like that's usually where like the dreaded DMPC comes in, where it's a guy that just knows the answers. You know? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and I feel like the DM burnout is very real. I experienced it badly because I was that person who didn't want to stop.
Yeah.
Because I felt that if I stopped, the group was going to dissolve. Which was a very toxic place to be. And nobody was saying that. Like, nobody was like, nobody was showing symptoms on, like, if I stopped, they would just walk away.
Yeah.
Nobody was doing that. It was all in my head.
And
you know what I mean?
And is the floor open for me now? I didn't want to interrupt you. And we've talked about DM burnout before. Like, we did a whole episode on it. But the big lesson that I learned recently is recognizing the starts.
Yes,
is recognizing the starts of DM burnout, and it's just like when it was. I think it was like right when you guys got back to Tourmaline after the mountain adventure. It was just like it's just not coming to me as it used to, and I'm just like, you know what, I'm starting to get burnt out, and I nipped it in the bud real quick before it got to the point where like it started to drag,
affecting the group.
Affecting the group's fun.
And like when you told me, the minute you told me, like, yeah, dude, take a break. Yeah, because I knew, like, I didn't want to like be going through like investing this much into Rime of the Frost Maiden and then like things were just gonna get stale
Yeah,
and boring and quick
and
solving.
I definitely didn't want to have a point in the adventure where there was like, oh yeah, but that part with like Tourmaline, like
Yeah,
I didn't want to be like an ugly part that like the group like
yeah,
didn't talk about or just kind of brushed under the rug.
yeah,
I'm just like, no, no, no,
yeah.
I need a break.
Yes.
Just kind of.
So recognizing, I think recognizing dungeon master's burnout is very important.
Hmm.
Nibbling enough on the butt and just taking a break, be open, and just be like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna take a break, guys.
Yeah,
It's like honestly, like a lot of work. Man. We all have full time jobs.
It definitely got to the point because I have a whole, no surprise to anyone that actually knows me, I have a whole playlist of like music and stuff like ambience for Rime of the Frost Maiden, and I'll usually listen to that either the day before or the day of that we're playing. That way I can kind of get into the mood of it. But like the last like it wasn't like the last 10 sessions that we played, but probably like the last 1 or 2 sessions, like I was like listening to music trying to get keyed up. I'm just like, nah, it's just not
Not feeling
it's
it.
just not happening, and I'm just like, I'm just tired.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. No, I hear you.
and the thing about it is, it wasn't like, you have to recognize that burnout does not equate into not enjoying D&D. Like that,
Mhm.
that's the real problem, is where you're just like, am I just not enjoying like dun, dun,
Yeah. You
anymore?
fall into that like, is my passion
Yeah,
fading?
is
Like,
it
is
me?
this it? Did I invest in all of this and this is the end of it? It's not
And
that.
it's not, because the moment Heather's like, hey, I'm gonna run Saltmarsh, I came up with like 18 fucking characters. So, so I'm like, okay, no, it's there, I just needed a change of pace.
Yeah.
Like the past 2 weeks have been so refreshing, and I feel so much better for it. So like, yes, this is, your DM
Yeah.
needs a break every now and then.
Yeah, for sure. And it's also one of those things that this is like your oh no what
Uh-oh, we're gonna get kicked
what's
off
on.
of Zoom.
I hope not. Anyways,
You want me to open up Discord
so
just in case?
no, leave it. It should be fine.
Okay.
Um, what was I gonna say?
I said,
Zoom threw me
yeah,
off.
I know. Zoom's like, you got 10 minutes, wrap it up.
Shit. What was the other thing you said?
I said sometimes your DM just needs a break.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know what the thought I had, but yes, DMs need a break. We have full time jobs, but that was yeah. And this is one of those things. Like this is your first. I'm gonna say that this is your first actually long term campaign.
Yes.
Because you like I feel like while Curse of Strahd was a long campaign in the sense that like it was an actual campaign. It started. We started pretty like at third level. We didn't start from level 1.
Yeah.
And it moved on fairly quickly because we were more in a open doors ask question later mentality.
Yeah. Well, not well.
For it. So it was
Well, I
like,
mean, not only that, but also my approach to it was also less. What's the word? Like less ingrained than my like a lot of things that I learned from Curse of Strahd I've put into Rhyme, where it's like, oh, okay, sometimes it's okay to slow things down, and so I actually told you when we started playing Rhyme, I'm like, I wish I played Curse of Strahd this way, and honestly, Curse of Strahd was just a big lesson for me.
yeah,
So a lot of that, a lot, like the first like 20 sessions of Curse of Strahd was me just learning how to DM. So
all right, you want to move to the next one?
yeah. So the one I made was create scenarios, not scenes. And what that means is, you know how like this is the role play version of approaching a puzzle and dungeon mastering, where it's like, come up with a puzzle, or like some sort of obstacle, but don't really come up with a solution. Let the players come up with that solution. This is kind of the same thing, where it's like, okay, I'm going to introduce this character, but don't expect like this dialogue that you have been like prepping in your mind to go exactly the way you want to, because 9 times out of 10 it ain't, because your players are not mind readers.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're just either not in the mood to like do a RP heavy thing, or they're just maybe just don't have like lesbians in your group. So it's like, don't expect the exact beat for beat to happen. Just go ahead, throw this character into the mix that you have for your campaign, or you created for your homebrew or whatever, and then just know they have these motivations, they have these goals, there's this kind of alignment. Are they allied to the party or not? And then just kind of go from there. And you're just going to have whatever outcome happens. That's just the one that's going to happen. Don't try to railroad the outcome for the players. That's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that makes total sense. Sorry, I'm trying to deal with like Zoom side.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want it to break in the middle of the stream. But if it does, we'll just jump into Discord, no problem.
Did you put more quarters into the meter?
Well, I was like, oh, let me just buy the license, but it's like $15 a month for like, and I'm just like, is it worth it? You know what I mean? So that's weird because like it's supposed to be free up to 40 minutes, but we never had an issue with it.
No.
Now, so let's see if it. Oh no! Look, remaining time 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird.
I started up Discord just in case.
Yeah, let's move on to Discord.
Haha! Fuck you, Zoom. Well, hold on, give me a second.
we'll figure that out later. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to edit this bit out.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, because it's never happened before. It's kind of odd. Maybe that was like the free.
Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not in campaign. There we go. All right. I'm gonna get it.
Oh no! Double audio. Hold on, let me get out. Do I have this full screen? Is that how it was set up before?
Can you hear me?
Oh, look at that! The only difference is that the names are turn on your camera.
I did turn on my camera.
Okay, great. Whoa, it's like super slow. Hello?
Hi.
Is your connection okay?
Yeah, my connection's fine.
Oh man, this is gonna suck. No, so it's fine. Your audio's perfect, but it's out of sync. Let me see it talk again.
I'm talking again.
Okay, then it's back to normal.
Okay, all right.
So
because I mean, you know how like when you first connect, it like takes a second. That was probably
yeah. Let me flip the cameras. Hold on a second. What the crap is this? No, we don't need that. Technical difficulties. Luckily, the layout is almost spot on, the same as.
Can we have a little poster for technical difficulties where it's hang in there, but it's the displacer beast, where like instead of the cat is a displacer beast, it's like hanging on to a wire.
I wonder if somebody's done that. You can just steal the art.
Just steal the art,
dude. I'm not an artist. What the hell? What the fucking flip? Hold on. I'm trying to grab your camera, but I can't. Why? Andrew's live camera. No, that's my camera. What's this live camera? Oh, it was locked. There you go. Boop. And that. Boop. And there you go. I think that is good enough. Okay, we're back. Talk.
I'm talking. Hello, my name is Andrew.
We're good. Sorry about that, guys. we had a little bit of technical difficulties there for a second because Zoom decided to charge me.
Yeah, yeah. Zoom's suddenly like, all right, you gotta cough up some dough. We're like,
bro,
Discord,
baby. How long have we been using Zoom? We even had like 2 hours like Zoom conference with Heather. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, and now all of a sudden it's like, nah.
Yeah, for real.
Someone at Zoom's like, cut him off.
I love how we're like just going from like platform to platform as long as it keeps it free.
Oh man! Oh,
I think the only thing we paid for is Roll20. That's just because we already invested too much.
Wait, do I have Skype loaded up just in case?
Actually, Skype might not be a bad idea, you know, because it's like Zoom but Skype. The only thing is like it's very heavy. But anyways, so we're back. Let's continue.
Next is gonna be what's it the Google like meetup or whatever. Yeah.
Hey, actually, that one's pretty good too. Just saying.
Yeah,
so we have options. Yeah, we have options. We don't need to pay $15 a month for just this. Yeah, for real.
Get fucked, Zoom.
All right. So, my next part. So, sorry, I had to like do all that.
No.
On your last part,
that's okay.
But my next bit was when an encounter looks like it's too much, like it's too much. 9 times out of 10, it's not.
No.
And this was a thing that I learned real quick, and I'm gonna say it first started creeping in Tomb of Annihilation, where like, man, this sounds like a lot, right? So like, pulling back the curtain a little bit, I kind of like held back, you know, and it just like it just complete. You guys just steamroll through it. So like when we move on to Avernus, I was like, you remember the beginning part where like people are like, oh no, run it as is, or actually almost everybody on the internet was like, oh, this is way too much for a level 1 party, blah blah blah, remove things. I'm like, let's see how it goes.
No, absolutely not.
And
because that gave me old school D&D vibes. I'm like, I am here for it. Kill my character in session 1.
Well, but the thing is also that like the fact that it's I don't know, it's never like, maybe okay if you go a little too crazy and you're like, oh, Tarask, why not, right? Like duh, or like a Nightcrawler, like yeah, okay. But like if it's like this is a little too a bit too many pirates, like if it feels like it's too many pirates on the book, like no, throw it in there.
Yeah,
because it was a moment that we're like, man, I hope it doesn't go bad, and it started looking like it was gonna go bad, but sure and behold, the god dies just kind of like came in and like flipped the script on the players' benefit, and it made it made for a much better story moment. And just like that, recently with the Saltmarsh part of it, you know, we got into this fight and it looked like in the beginning, oh, this is it, like we're gonna TPK right here, there's no way. And sure enough, we did just fine. Like it was like
the dice were in our favor. So
yeah.
But okay, so it's funny because you say don't underestimate an encounter, but also don't overestimate an encounter. Like don't like or you're saying don't overestimate. I'm saying don't underestimate, because sometimes
no, I'm saying do not underestimate. No, don't overestimate an encounter.
Yeah, and I'm saying sometimes don't underestimate, because you never know. That CR 1/4 mook, you know, all it takes is one good crit, and then that, you know, that might be it, especially for like a level 1 party.
Well, again, with the Saltmarsh, with the well and snakes,
that was it.
Out of nowhere,
that was it. The adventure could have ended right there.
Right there.
Yeah,
and it would have been a great story, because it would have been like, oh, you made all these characters freaking pirates and whatever, and you die because of snakes.
Yeah, because snakes jumped out of a well, you know, or
Vesemir's worst nightmare.
I mean, and you can set it up to where it's like, oh yeah, these are CR 1/2 monsters or some crap like that. So yeah, 4 of them should be just like nothing, easy pickings. But like I said, if the dice are with you, you know, sometimes you'll have that one monster. It's just like, why won't you fucking die? Yeah. and that one is just having its own hero moment where it's just like, I can do this all day, and it's just
right. It's just like a little snake with 2 little doodle arms.
It's just dishing it out as best as, because we've all had that moment where it's just like this one goblin is just really slippery and he's like slicing all of our ankles and stuff like that.
Yeah,
we're just like, we've encountered the world's strongest goblin.
But again, for me personally, it is legit 9 times out of 10 it is not too much for the players.
No.
And the players like have like a way to figure shit out or make things work that I'm just like, I didn't think of that.
I mean, and honestly,
it makes sense.
Honestly, like sometimes just, and this is gonna sound really weird, but sometimes just throw shit at the players and just see what happens. You know, just like oh,
little shit.
Yeah. But no, just be like, okay, yeah, here's a whole bunch of monsters, and because you know your players have resources. Your players are not stupid. You know, like they know tactics and stuff. Well, I mean, our players know tactics and stuff like that.
Well, also like you have to remember that like you know all the things about the monsters, and you're way too preoccupied with the story and everything that's happening. You tend to forget what's in the character sheets.
Yeah. But I mean, you know? not only that, but if it's something where it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna throw a bunch of, I don't know, Dwargar at these guys, and all of a sudden the Dwargar gain the upper hand, well, that's when you'd be like, all right, we'll shave off a couple HP here and there, so that way, whatever the next hit is, it's gonna kill and blah. Yeah. So that way, you know, if you are so inclined to do so, like if you don't want to be like, okay, well, I don't want my guys dying from a like random encounter out in an open field, you know,
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's also that thing that like I think we talked about it in a couple of like how to improve encounters or something. Like I think it was an episode we had. Like one of them was like, what's that? Like they don't like, you can just be like, oh, it makes sense that this like the big example was like, oh, the character sneaks behind a goblin and it does a sneak attack. It's a very hard like it's a crit, right? It's really well
Yeah.
like done. It does a sneak attack, but then the goblin on your side has still like 5 hit points. Oh, no, that's too much. Like 2 hit points, so it's still alive. But it doesn't know. Like it's story wise, it makes sense that it would be dead.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. That's
So-
and that's why you have the assassination like ability, and the one where I think it's like the level 20 rogue ability where you just roll max damage if you
Yeah.
like perform an assassination. Where it's just like you kill them, it's fine,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So it's just it's kind of funny where it's just like. Yeah, you never know. Like 20, like you could like a party of frost giants could be steamrolled, but that one goblin, that one goblin can be really tricky. So, all right. So my next point is lay plot seeds early and often. And what that means is this is more like if you're running a pre-made adventure, especially if it's a Wizards of the Coast one, because I don't know about you, but I've noticed that Wizards of the Coast tends to have a bad habit of just there's usually a character or at the 11th hour is like, oh, this is the exposition. And it's just like
Yep. Or when you're transitioning from like one area of the adventure to the other area of the adventure, it's like, oh, magically, look, this person's gonna guide you through everything.
Yeah, like, haha, I am expositor, the wizard. But I mean, depending on the group, that's not going to matter. Like some people are just like, I'm just here to hit things, and I just want to explore dungeons and get gold. That's fine. So yeah, whatever. Lay that exposition, dump it on me, expositor. But me personally, I like having like payoff for foreshadowing and stuff like that. So like,
I don't like payoff.
Well, I can't help that. So what I like to do is I like to look further into the source material, find stuff that's going to show up later, and then make little like hints and what's going on here kind of a thing.
Yeah, I am taking that into account for my next adventure because I know you've been doing that. I don't think a lot of the things you've laid down has paid off yet or even come up. But I know you're doing that right now. Yeah. And I want to do that for my next ones because when I say I'm a lazy DM, I mean it. I am a lazy DM.
Oh yeah.
So like I
all
read
lazy.
Maybe no, but like when I have the book. Actually no, until Avernus. Avernus was a different thing, but until that point, I will read like maybe 2 chapters ahead. Mm-hmm. I will not read the whole book. Avernus was the difference because I did read the whole thing twice, and then I was actually prepared for that one. But before that point, I will read like 2, which is like it's my own fault. Like I don't know what is the angle here. I do know the angle, I just don't know the details.
Right.
So I agree. Like that is an excellent point. I know you've been doing it, and I'm definitely gonna be doing that. I've been taking notes, Andrew.
And thank you. And that is actually something I've learned from. I'm not gonna lie, from the Metal Gear Solid series, where there's stuff like early on, you're like, what the fuck is that? And then later on, it's like, oh, okay, it was that.
Yeah.
Or especially just like Kojima in general, because there's a lot of stuff in Death Stranding where like, what? Oh, it's this later on. So just if you're so inclined to do so. And if you're a DM, you should probably do this anyways. But if you're going to run an adventure, not run it, but read it cover to cover first, just so you're not you don't have expectations of the adventure and then they don't meet said expectations. Like, oh, well, crap. Well, I'm already in it now. But also that way, if you want to, you can take those plot points later on and just because not only does it make it more intriguing for certain players, but also to me, it kind of breathes more life into the setting where it's like, oh, there are machinations going on behind a curtain that I've yet to pull open. So it's like, what's oh, there's a bit of mystery here, because I mean, as characters in this adventure, you're not going to have the full scope of what's going on, and by the end of that adventure, you still might have questions, and that's fine. Just if you are going to have exposition, if you are going to have exposition, make sure it's tasteful. like don't be like, oh wait, before you go into this final dungeon, here's all of your answers about, or all the questions you have answered, kind of a thing. And just, I don't know, to me it's just like just try to avoid that lazy writing trope. That's just me.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% of the time. Like I think you've taken the time with this campaign has first of all introduced it to the party, right?
Mm-hmm.
But open the door to me doing it. I know Robert would do it too, and like Heather as well. But like me specifically, because I was just running it per the book, very like straightforward. Like you know what I mean. So this has been pretty awesome bit. I have my next one is always have an open door policy for feedback, and I think I started doing this towards the latter end of Tomb of Annihilation.
Okay.
Because Storm King's Thunder and no. Wow, things are blending right now. I ran Tomb of Annihilation and then Waterdeep, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it was the latter end.
You blanked it out of your mind.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You just went like sunshine for the what's it? Sunshine for the spotless mind kind of thing. You just went to a clinic and like just get rid of this campaign.
Yeah, pretty much. But I remember doing. I think it was the latter end of Tomb of Annihilation, where like at the end of each episode, I will ask, like legit, just straight up, like how was it? Anything that wasn't clear. Any clarification you guys need, anything else you would like to see, anything you didn't like. For the most part, like towards the beginning, everybody will be like, "Oh, it was fine," blah blah blah. Blah. But then towards like the later, I want to say episodes, sessions, you guys started giving me feedback.
Yeah.
Specifically in Avernus, there was like some, not a lot, but there was still some feedback, and I like to have that like that open door. Yeah, and I like to have that open door feedback with everybody because like I much rather fix things that people are not liking early on, than to wait until the end and like, oh, I didn't like this part in chapter 2.
Yeah.
It's like no. So I much rather like that's why I ask a lot. I'm like, what do you guys think? Anything you guys want to see? Anything you want to change? Like blah blah blah. Like it's not too much. How's the combat? How's this? Almost like at the end of this customer service, there's a survey.
If you fill it out, if you fill it out, you earn the chance to potentially win a $10 Applebee's gift card.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, just having an open door policy, I think for feedback. It's crucial because I think the most fun, funny enough, like that extended to we having like a review / feedback episode at the end of Avernus.
Yeah, a Q&A.
Where like Q&A where everybody just like had all the questions and all the answers were there. Like we really broke down the adventure and talked about all the moments and everything that we liked, that we didn't like, and everything else.
And that's definitely something I want to implement for like probably like the bigger campaigns. I definitely want to do one for Rhyme. Have a Q&A session for Rhyme.
Yeah. Also, it's good content. It's an adventure review.
I mean, yeah, it really is. But it's also important to note that if you are going to give feedback, first of all, I am completely open to feedback, unprompted. If you don't need to wait for me to ask you, hey, how'd you like that? No, just tell me straight up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
but
I felt like this part was a little stiff. You could have done that, kind of thing. But I mean, it's also important to remember it's not what you say. Sometimes it's how you say it.
Andrew, your shit.
I know. But no, I mean,
yeah, it is. But it is funny because like I think for the most part, you and I have pretty much open feedback. But that's more from like DM to DM, right? Like you ask me questions and I ask you questions after my sessions. But like. Yes, but here's the thing, Andrew. Like I will tell you this because if you don't tell me to give you feedback, I will not give you feedback. Mainly because I will forget, and I think everybody's on the same boat. So that's why I always I actively ask. Like I'm actively seeking for feedback, so people know that I'm actively open to hear your shit comment.
Yeah. But I mean, really, that's the only way as a DM you're going to improve and learn is if you get, constructive criticism from your players. So you're like, okay, now I know I can't, because otherwise if you don't get that feedback, and like you yourself are not putting the work in, you're just going to do the same thing, and it's just going to become
Mm-hmm.
stale. And
Mm-hmm.
it'd be 8 years down the road, and he's still running combat where it's just
Yep.
people smashing into each
Yep.
other, and there's no tactics or anything
Yep.
like that.
Dude, if
So
I was, if I, yeah, if I was still running my games like I ran it back in like Fandelbert,
mhm.
yeah, that's a problem there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I mean, yeah, no, feedback is incredibly important.
Yep.
It's and don't be afraid to 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 pipe up and say, you felt something could have been changed this way, or you didn't like a certain thing, because that's the only way. Then that's not the only way, but that's one of the bigger ways that us as DMs can grow and learn is, oh, hey, you didn't like that. Okay,
Yeah.
well, give me some perspective. Like from a player's side, what was the problem here? And then we'd be like, okay, and we can implement it and such.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. All right. So my next point is create heroic moments for the players, and what that means.
Boo. No,
And what that means is, sometimes, like, go through your player sheets, especially on Roll20. It's super easy. Just go through your player sheets and
yeah.
be like, oh, hey, they have this certain move and stuff like that, and or like a certain ability, and try to, like, not cater. Like, you definitely don't want to, like, coddle or anything like that, but like maybe open up an opportunity for them to use, this move that they haven't had a chance to use or something
Yeah.
like that. Because sometimes it's not like every encounter you need to shape it exactly to the group. Sometimes the group needs to conform to the encounter. That's the beauty of D&D. But if you have like a player that's like, you could tell they're really excited to use like a certain ability or something like that, and they really haven't had the chance to do that. Well, then that's when you kind of, you give them that chance. Or if it's like say like you have like a what's it, like the thief rogue that has the second, what's the ability, like the climbing thing, like second story work or something like that.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but there's like not a lot.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Like quick step. Yeah, I know what you're talking
yeah, but there's like you don't really see a lot of opportunities coming up on that. Well, maybe the next time they come across like a dwarf fortress or something like that, well, maybe one of the towers has some loose cobblestones that can act as, jump, like climbing points, and that way, the thief rogue gets their time to shine. Like it's important to remember, like, yes, as the DM, there is a fine line to balance between being an antagonist and also, like the ally for the players. But sometimes you need to give them like their moment, like give them the spotlight.
about. Yeah.
That way they don't feel like you're constantly beating them down and stuff like that. Because I
Yep.
mean, 9 times out of 10, if you're playing with D&D, you're gonna be playing with your friends.
Yeah.
And you don't want to become that guy where it's just like, oh, we're playing an Andrews campaign again. I can't wait to get the shit kicked out of me.
Oh, that's not what you're aiming for.
No, it's not. But I'm just saying, like if your guy just got the ability to cast invisibility like Alex did with his rogue, let them have that, and let
Yeah.
them lean into it and learn stuff and have fun with it and play with it. Don't shoot them down.
Yeah. No, I hear you, and I think for me it's hard because I'm so preoccupied with like the story and the book and the elements and all the little details and stuff like that I tend to forget it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, fuck, that's right. They really leaning into this part of their character. I need to actively just put something in encounters
Yeah.
or in like moments and exploration bits. Like, yeah, you're right, 100%.
Well, yeah, it's like well, actually, probably the biggest one for me, going back to Alex's rogue and rhyme, when he stole that chair leg and was making a shield out of it. Realistically, I'm like, the guards would have spot that a mile away. They probably would have taken inventory of it. But he had been working on this, and like a session later, it paid off. So
Yeah.
so I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't you don't want to take things away from the player for the sake of reality too terribly much. Yes, your story can be grounded, but don't make it miserable at the same time. You know,
We're not playing hyper realistic simulation over here.
no,
It's a fantasy game.
no, we're playing a fantasy game where one of our players is a cat person,
and then the other one's a turtle.
Yeah. So, or currently in our campaign, we have a like mermaid person and an orc, and yeah. So it's like sometimes you gotta be like, all right, dude, come on.
Yeah, for sure. My next one. Okay, so my next one is one that I was self-conscious about for a bit, but then I figured that it kind of actually makes sense, which is when you think that you're being annoying by pressuring everybody to make it to the session, you're not. You're just literally doing your job. Because as a DM, you are quite like literally leading the game, everything about it, not just the adventure when you're playing, but like getting everybody's schedule set up, make sure that everybody shows up, make sure that, hey guys, remember this one's. Luckily for us, we are at a point in our group where like Wednesdays are sacred.
Yeah.
You know, unless life is happening, like Wednesdays are sacred. We're not gonna be, oh, there's a movie coming out, I need to watch Moon Knight. Like, no, like for most of us, we're actually looking forward to our Wednesdays.
Yeah.
And playing D&D. But that took work. That took me fucking going insane. Just gotta, like in the beginning, trying to get everybody to schedule. Like, okay, we can't play on every other Sunday now. What are we gonna play? And getting everybody's like putting polls and like asking people like, hey, this Wednesday. Like in the beginning, I had to like, hey, this Wednesday, are you gonna be coming? Are you gonna be like? Now we don't ask if they're gonna be there. We just people know that if they're not gonna make, they just tell you in advance, even, right? Like it's not like, oh, can't make it last minute. But that took a lot of work, and it was just me being extremely annoying to everybody, and just being like texting them constantly. And, just be guys. Like it's not because I'm a big nerd and I want to play D&D. It's just like if you guys are not showing up, I need to make changes or whatever it is, or if like or rule of thumb if two people are not showing up, then we just kind of skip it. Or skip that session. But like there's a lot that goes in the background before the game even starts. You as the DM, as the lead of the game, you have to like, because everybody, when you're a player, you're relying on the DM to set everything up, right? You're like, are we gonna play today? Like that shouldn't be a question. Like the DM should let you know if you're playing that day.
Yeah, I mean,
so it sounds like a bother. It sounds like more work, but like that's just part of the job.
I mean, prepping an adventure, especially the beginning of one, it is to some degree a lot of work. I mean, it might not be like tremendous work for some people, but for some of us it might be, like we're getting all this stuff gathered up. So yeah, definitely you definitely don't want that to go like unrewarded. So yeah, I've been part of that too, where I'm like, is everyone going to be there for tomorrow? Like, are we all going to be here? And like and it'll be like a couple hours go by, no response. Hey guys, are we going to be here tomorrow for this? So I mean,
And I think I like to think I don't know, people haven't told me this, but I like to think that people appreciate it because it keeps everybody online and like the same page when it comes to like when are we gonna play and if it's gonna happen. Because as an adult, there's nothing worse than having plans that you don't know if they're actually gonna happen because you could be planning for something else if it's not.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like, like I like to think that people appreciate the fact that I'm so fucking annoying in our group when it comes to that.
I mean, and there's nothing wrong with asking like ahead of time, like, hey, none of you guys are gonna make it, let me know so that way I can blah blah blah, or something like that. But because this is a really good way to prevent like ghosting. Because there's nothing worse than thankfully I've never experienced it, but I can't imagine there's nothing worse than like getting a game set up and then just the player just doesn't show up for one reason or another, and it's like, oh hey, I didn't see the chat. Yeah, no, sorry, I wasn't able to make it because Moon Knight premiered.
I think that happened to me once, and I can't remember when it was. It was back when we were still doing physical games in my apartment, and I remember I was very upset when it happened, and like Kristen and a friend that we had at the time, like kind of like cheered me up by like organizing my minis.
But it's all.
But it wasn't even necessarily the fact that I was just ghosted. It was like the fact that like life happened, and because life happened to somebody else, somebody kind of like took the opportunity. Like, oh, I can't make it now. Like it was one of those moments. Like back early in the group stages when like it still wasn't solidified. So yeah, and it sucks. I can tell you that much. It really does suck.
Oh.
I never felt like such a child because I was like, I'm so fucking annoyed right now. I just want to go to sleep.
I like that. I'm annoyed. I'm going to sleep now.
Yeah, that's pretty much me.
Yeah, no, you definitely need at least a little bit of rigidity at first, so that way you can kind of get the schedule going.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I will say this a million times again, but our group is very good about it now. Like it's, and I said now, but not in the sense that they were really bad at before. But like, I'm just saying, like it's just we're just at that point.
I mean, it's gotten to the point that we don't even need to send out the Let's Quest gift. People just show up at
yeah, I know. But traditions, Andrew,
which is blasphemy.
Traditions.
Yeah, no, that lets you know I'm ready.
Oh shit! All right.
So
I think you're next.
Yeah, my next point is know when to pull back the curtain, and that means, like, you know, sometimes as a DM you're being too obscure or you're being too vague, or you know, sometimes like your narration didn't do a very good job.
Yeah.
And so you sometimes you just need to be like, hey, all right, here's what's actually going on. This is what I need you guys to understand, kind of a thing.
Yep.
Like probably the biggest example is that like, oh, there's going to be like a puzzle in this particular room, and the answer is going to be in this room. So, you know, like that way you don't have players like searching the rest of the dungeon. Like, oh, maybe
you're the escape game host, and you're like, all right, guys, the door is not really locked, but everything you need is gonna be.
Yeah.
Do not pull anything that's gonna break.
Yeah. If it's nailed to the wall, you don't need it. Okay. Don't stand on chairs. Everyone needs a hand. Raise your hands. Yeah. No. But
if you need a clue, everybody look at the camera.
Yeah. No. Exactly. No. It's just because sometimes you know you'll have a puzzle and then someone will be like, oh yeah, that reminds me of something 8 rooms back.
Yeah.
You'd be like, no, hold on before you guys go all the way down there and do 20 other fucking investigation checks. No, the solution is in this room.
I think, you know, if I can pull like that happened a lot in the Tomb of the Nine Gods. I remember having to stop a couple times, like, oh guys, no, like, you clear this floor. There's nothing here. Everything you're gonna need is from here. Like I had to like just kind of like step back real quick and like, guys, just this way.
Or there's been some times where like this definitely happened in Ravenloft Castle, where there was that little. Do you remember that little like torch thing that had the different color gems in it?
Oh yeah, vaguely.
Yeah. Okay, so spoilers for Curse of Strahd. Just putting that out there. But there's like this like
skip to this time frame.
But like there's like this fire pit. I think it's like a sconce or something, and you throw a gem in there, and the fire turns a different color, and then you can jump.
I remember now.
Yeah. And everyone was afraid of it because like, oh no, Strahd's castle.
Because the Vesemir wasn't there.
Well, yeah, that too. But also, it's like, oh, it's Strahd's castle. It's probably going to kill us. And that's where I'm like, okay, hold on. This is not going to harm you to use this. Like, I had to pull back the curtain because, like, I'm not saying it was essential to Ravenloft. You could have just honestly went right by it. But I thought it was a neat little detail, and I didn't want people to be like, you know, jumping at their shadows and everything. Like, no, there are fun elements in this dungeon. Yeah. Yes, most things will try to kill you, but this is not one.
but not this one.
This is not one of them. So it's fine to reassure your players that like I am not trying to kill you at every single step. Okay. I do want you to have fun.
Unless you're playing Tomb of Horrors, but that's a different story.
Tomb of Horrors is something going in, you will die.
you have like 7 pre-made characters.
Yeah,
you know you're gonna go down.
I need everyone to make a party.
Yeah, but no, I agree. You hit the nail on the head because like everything I was thinking of saying to support your point, you said it. Like it's literally that. It's like sometimes you can tell that they're not that their train of thought is too far off, but that it's gonna lead them to spend way much more time than what we have to get there. So if you can cut that bit out, so they can be like, don't focus on that, focus on this, because let's be honest, our time is precious. Those 3 hours on Wednesdays, we want to make the most out of it. You know what I mean? Like we don't need you to be going exploring. And like I'm sorry, but if you're the type of DM that like you let us go 4 floors up, check every room in each one of those floors, and the solution was in that one room or in that one floor that we were at of the dungeon, like you're an asshole. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Like, that's stupid.
there's a special circle in hell for people like that.
Yeah, like that leads to just frustration. It's
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? I checked everything.
Yeah, like as a DM, sometimes you have to be like, no, it's just a door. Trust me, it's just a door. You know,
Yeah.
unless it's a mimic.
But that's a different story. I mean,
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, for
there's got to become a point where everything's gonna become a mimic because I'm bored. Oh, that candle you picked up? Guess what?
It's a mimic in the shape of a snake. Yeah, like getting your seeing the paranoia sick in on your players. It's satisfying.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I mean, no, I mean the paranoia is fine. Like, oh, okay, you're deep in the heart of a dungeon and stuff like that. Like, help is not going to be on the way. But also, it's like, no, we can have fun too. like,
yeah.
Look, this is just a neat thing. I promise you, I'm not gonna kill you yet.
Oh man. All right. So my next point is going the extra mile pays off in a big way.
Now,
what
what do you mean by this? What do you mean by this?
A lot of things. So for me, like one of my most favorite moments is like when I was getting ready for Avernus, and when I put on that care package for you guys in the beginning, seeing your guys' reactions and feedback on that thing, like I was like, yes, this is gonna be so worth it.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one player in the server, but we don't talk about that.
You know who you is, Howard.
No, not Howard. But like, I took time, I took care, I took a lot of money. Like I put like all that shit together, like for you guys because I care that much.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys were so pumped to start the adventure that made the first like couple of like the sessions are usually kind of slow and like, oh, I don't know, I'm trying to figure. You guys were so fucking ready. Like it just started at 100. It just like fucking went in there, like no problem. And I like to think that had a lot to do with that. And like for you, from my side of the table, is the amount of time you put into finding the right music. Mm-hmm. Like I know we don't say it now as much, but like when like I think it was. Yeah, I know, but like when like they were but there's like a well, but I mean you know that we tell you like there was like there's like plenty of moments early on and in Straw that like wow that like the music or like we get like chills. And, like,
okay, okay, seriously, that moment in Curse of Straw where you guys went to the church and I played the safe room theme from Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
And Howard's like, ooh, the music. I was like.
Yeah. Yeah, like little things that can just like make the game more than just like let's roll dice and be together.
Yeah.
Like just little like back when we used to play in person, like I used to like bring out all my metal tableware, but to just like make it a little bit more medieval and stuff like that. Or like we had a Halloween session here and everybody dressed up. I was like, I gotta dress up, and I like dimmed the lights, and it was like those little things. That's what I'm talking about, the extra mile. Because like let's be honest, to play D&D, the minimum things you need is an adventure, paper, and pen, and dice. That's it. It's just like going that extra mile to like put the idea out there, even if you put the idea, but everybody runs away with it, like runs along with it. And it makes it even better. Like it's you started it. You were the catalyst. Going back to my previous point, you are the annoying fuck who's gonna have to like get people to go and get people to be there, right? Like hype people up. Like it's your game. So that's what I mean by going the extra mile.
But it's also doing that little bit of extra work on the side outside of just normal DMing. That's what makes the adventure your adventure. That's that's what's going to break away from, oh, we had literally just the same adventure that the people at Adventurers League did or something like that. Like no, in our adventure this happened and stuff like that. So that's what makes it your own. That's what makes it really special. That's the actual magic of D&D. Is that
exactly?
So
yeah.
All right. So my next point is very carefully read the stats. Sometimes the devil's in the details, and what I mean by that is, I don't know about you, but when I read a monster block, I usually just like AC, HP, damage, and I don't really worry about all the other stuff.
Yeah, and after the fight is over, you're like, "Fuck, I should have just that."
or it's something where it's like, "Oh, this guy has this certain language, or they have a proficiency with like this weird skill that I didn't think they would have proficiency in, or something like that, or they have damage resistances and invulnerabilities.
Yeah,
So
no, and those are the little things that like could make the difference in battle.
yeah,
Big difference. Like fuck, I've been doing full damage. I should have been doing half damage.
yeah, it's like, oh fuck,
Yeah,
that fight could have been a
or
lot
I've been
more
taking
difficult.
full damage.
Yeah, but also not only that, but that reading into those little details, that's what makes a monster into a character. Like that's when you can like, oh, this monster, it's technically a monster, but it could speak Sylvan and Common. So then like, oh, so it's capable of communicating. So then that's when, so it's like, oh, that plus its alignment means it's going to have these certain motivations. So when you take this monster and put it into this scenario, it's not going to be claw attack for 1d4 plus 3 damage or some crap like that. Like, no, it's going to be like, hold on, I have, it has its own agency, and it has its own like abilities to react to the story in some certain way, and perhaps move a plot point, or do something. Like it could have story capabilities, and that's and so that, again, something like that, just reading into the finer details can breathe life into what would otherwise just be a bag of hit points.
Yeah, yeah, and while I think that applies to a lot of monsters out there, it definitely does not apply to giants.
No, we haven't ran my giants yet.
I said your giants, not
Yeah.
D&D giants.
Well, that will happen though. We will meet giants in this campaign.
Ooh, fun.
That's not a maybe. That is a definite.
Well, I mean, it is the spine of the world. I am expecting some frost giants.
Oh, aren't you?
Oh man. Okay, so my next one is learn to identify problem players and intervene before it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
This is a big one that I learned.
The second you see it, nail it down. Don't let know.
And I'm saying this after the fact because when it was happening, the stream stopped. No, I didn't. When it was happening, I kind of felt it, but I didn't see it. If that makes sense. Like there was like tension, and I was like, "There's something here. I don't know." Which I asked. I remember asking, so that's a point to me. But nobody said anything at that time. And then later on, one of my players was like, hey, I'm gonna, if this doesn't happen, I'm gonna quit.
Yeah. And
I'm like, fuck that, you're quitting. Like, if like you're not.
Okay,
like,
hold on. Just to emphasize, the quitting player was not the problem player.
No. The quitting player was not the problem player. I was like, fuck that, you're not gonna quit. You are going to, like, I'm much rather kick the problem player out, because at that point
we're done when I say we're done.
Yeah. Like it was like at that point it was very clear who the problem was. So I was like, no, I much rather kick that person out and then you stay. Like, no. Sadly, I wish it would have come to that, because for the fact that that player had to tell me that, I know that there was a lot of a lot of
background tension.
Yeah, tension, uncomfortable moments, like before that point.
Yeah.
And I wish I was better at spotting the actual bit problem too, because another thing that happens a lot is like it's hard to approach somebody that's being problematic if you don't know the exact problem.
Yeah, and it's also important to do this pretty much immediately. Like the second you recognize that something is happening, and it could just be like a party wide thing where everyone's being like, oh, haha, like they're talking too much about jokes, and I'm guilty of this as well. Where me, the DM, getting sidetracked by jokes and shit. Where that could be something where if you recognize that your players are getting too distracted with like their phones or something, that'd be like, hey guys, come on, let's blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But if it's one person in particular that's doing something that's making the rest of the table uncomfortable and ruining their fun, that's when you need to either pull them aside. And, well, first of all, you need to pull them aside, just one-on-one. Be like, hey, don't do this. Blah blah blah. And then honestly, I would just if they keep doing it, I would probably just call them out publicly on it, be like while they're at the table, like, hey, you need to cut that shit out.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like,
And like, I mean, I will like, you know, like, I think I will implement something along the lines of like a 3-strike thing. You know,
mhm.
like the first one is a private, I pull you on the side, so it's private. The second one is on like on the table with everybody, so because that opens the door to everybody else being like, yeah, dude, that's kind of annoying, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then if you keep doing it, the third time's like, sorry, man, you're out.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need you.
Bye. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And there, I mean, and that's, and the actually, again, going back to the greats, Matt Colville has a beautiful video on this called the Wang Rod rule, where it's talking about that one player that's being a dick. And it's like, sometimes you need to tell them, and I quote, cut that shit out at the table.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it's sometimes, dude, like, I get it. It's kind of hard to do sometimes, especially if you're like, at least me, like, I don't like confrontation. Like, I must rather like try to solve it and get the problem. Like, but I already have way too much shit going on as a DM. I am not gonna be trying to solve your problem.
Yeah,
like, you're the problem. You need to figure it out.
Yeah, sometimes like just all it takes is just saying, like, just shoot them a message, like either during the game or be like, okay, let's take a small break or something like that, or maybe even after the session, like, hey, you need to stop doing this, you know, and if not, you know, things are going to happen, you know. So yeah, no, 3-strike rule. You had 3 chances, buddy. All right, you're out. Bye.
Yeah,
you know?
And if they don't care enough to kind of adjust or trying to reflect on themselves, then they don't care enough about your game. Like, you don't want them there.
Yeah,
like,
and honestly,
you know what I mean?
No D&D is better than bad D&D. Like that is a hard, firm rule. Like, I would rather have no D&D than deal with some, like, you know, some trouble players, or, you know, a terrible DM or something like that. So yeah, no.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
All right, for a more lighter topic now. Learn to narrate.
That's why I put it in the middle, because I was like,
that way we can have our, you know, little, yeah. Learn to narrate with the nature of the adventure. So if it's something where it's like, okay, look up, like, if you're running, for example, Curse of Strahd, I'm just gonna put that out there. Like, if you're running Curse of Strahd, like, read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein or Bram Stoker's Dracula, stuff like that, and try to get that, like, narrative, like ooh, spooky, like, you know, like, oh, the trees are like skeletal hands reaching for an unseen god or something like that.
You mean playing spooky, scary skeletons in the background doesn't work?
No.
No.
But also, by that same nature, you don't want that same narration for, like, a lighthearted fun adventure. Like, you know, like if you're going to a carnival or something like that, you don't want, like, ooh, spooky, scary, like, trees or something like that. Like, no, you need to describe like the lush beauty of the autumnal colors sweeping in in the wind, kind of a thing. You know, so it's because you don't want to be that DM.
Game Master's Vault says hi.
Ooh, that sounds important.
That sounds important. Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, but it's like because all I knew was scary, like, narration.
What?
Because
no,
because the only game I had run so far was Curse of Strahd. So
but let's be honest, everything that you talk about is, like, super dark.
No, I mean, Rhyme is physically dark. but I mean, for like Rhyme of the Frost Maiden, I looked up, like, I watched videos on like the Arctic and stuff like that, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
like, it's quiet, it's serene, like yes, it is, like, primal, but there's also, like, kind of a beauty there as well. So it's like you know, and that and I felt like that lend credence to the nature of the adventure, where it's like, yes, there are terrible things going on, but it doesn't mean the world is crap. Right, you know, right. Not everything is Ravenloft. So and that could also be like when you're running, like, Dragon Heist, like, you can describe how, like, the streets in the like the harbor district are grimy and, like, they smell like fish guts and stuff like that, whereas the streets in, like, the higher class are like in a nice and pristine, and there's a coffee shop
Yeah,
and every
I
fucking
like to
street
think
corner.
yeah, I like to think that I did a fairly good job of describing that part.
No,
I can't
no,
remember that
no,
much.
you did. The way I remembered it was that the part where my character lived and I had an apartment in was like just shy of a shanty town. But the part where like the rest of the characters lived was like nice and beautiful and like I was like, oh wow, you mean there's not corpses lying in the streets all the time? But also
good.
but also by that same token, you made Baldur's Gate a super shithole.
Yeah.
Like even the nice parts of town were like, like even like the nice parts of town were like, I'm pretty sure there's these rich people got some skeletons in their closet.
Oh yeah, 100%. Oh shit! All right, is that it for yours?
So that way, when we burn down half the city, I'm like, I don't really feel bad about this.
You know, I'd reflect back to that, and I'm like, that was so fucking funny.
This is not our problem. Anyway,
The city's all rush into one side of the town to try to help, and you guys are just quietly moving the opposite way.
just like disappear into the shrubs in the background.
Who would have done that? Oh no, terrible.
Oh no.
All because you had to throw a cape inside of a fireplace.
No, we didn't throw a cape. We threw like 8 capes. Anyways.
Oh fuck. All right. My next one is it kind of ties back to my being annoying, but like no one else is going to put up the extra work to make the game happen. It's all up to you.
Yeah.
Like, and this is as a DM I'm talking about. Like players are not gonna be like, hey, you run this. Here's the book. I'm gonna buy it for you. Here's the module. I'm gonna buy it for you. You know, like here's how to run it. I'm gonna give you all the notes that I have about this. Like, you know, like nobody's gonna do that. Here's a schedule of every other player. You know, nobody is going to put the work to do that. You have to do that yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, and that was a lesson I learned real quick. I'm like, fuck, okay, here we go. Time to plan adult schedules.
Oh yeah. No, the thing, I don't want this to be like in the vein of like I told you so or something like that. But when Heather was like, "Man, this is like there's a lot going on," I'm like, "Yes, there is." You know,
and Dungeon Master headache is a real thing.
Oh, dude, it really is. And I don't know what it is, but Roll20 I'm fine on. But when I DM in real life, I'm like dying. Like afterwards, I need a couple of ibuprofen and a nap. Like I'm done. Yeah, that DM fatigue is fucking real, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it's a lot of work. There's a lot of stuff going on, which is why it's very important that you have players that take notes and they have and you know, I'm saying like they input into the story and they move things along on their own. So that way, as a DM, you don't have that extra work, you know, because there's a
it helps. It definitely helps a lot.
There's a
because sometimes somebody's like, hey, how about this thing that we, and you're like, oh shit, I forgot about that. Like you bring it up real quick.
Yeah, I mean, there's a behind the DM screen. There's a lot of levers you're pulling, especially if it's a boss fight. Like that's why where it's like, oh, we started at 6:30, 6:40, you came across the BBEG. All right, we're done. I gotta prep for next session. Why? Trust me. I mean, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but you have to do the work. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And because it's DMing is, I wouldn't say it's as fun as playing, but it's definitely more satisfying than playing.
I agree. And that kind of harks back, not the fun part, but like the a little work part of it. That harks back to DM burnout. Because once you start getting your burnout, you start doing less of that work. Yep. Which reflects on the sessions. You know, which I think for most players in our table, we're like, we understand and we play through it and we still have a lot of fun. But as a DM, it's not as satisfying because you know you could have done a lot better. Yep. You know, and it sucks. It sucks after the session's over and you're like, oh man, like I didn't do the voice, or I forgot to mention this, or describe this as I wanted it to be, or it didn't have the same impact as I thought it was gonna have. Like, and you know it's because of you, and that's the thing about recognizing burnout.
Yep, and sometimes sometimes.
And burnout's different from fatigue, because fatigue is just after the fact.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just need a good nap and I've been good. Burnout is like something that carries session after session.
Yeah.
You can't. Maybe some people can, but you can't just be a week off, or not a week off, but like you know what I mean, like from one session to another, the way we play, which is weekly.
Yeah.
I'm good to go. No, like you
Well, I mean,
need a break.
It also doesn't help that we as normal people, we have full-time jobs and stuff like that. So we can't. So I mean, honestly, if I just had like 2 days like purely dedicated to just prepping, that I'd be perfect. I would totally be okay running session after session after session after session. But it's like, but like the thing about it is like I have a full-time job, I have a house I have to take care of and whatnot, and like my days off are times for me to relax. So I mean, prepping is fun. It can be fun, but it is also work at the same time. So it really is a matter of how much do you want this, and when it got to the point where prepping became more work than fun, that's when you started to recognize those signs. So but you're right. Do bear in mind, as a DM, you will be putting work in, but you're also going to want to have to put that work in too.
Yep.
All right. My next one is absorb plenty of media, and by that I mean read lots of books, watch lots.
Use the Witcher soundtrack for everything.
The what?
Use the Witcher soundtrack for everything.
No. I have.
You admitted it yourself.
I hate the fact how perfect the Witcher soundtrack is for certain situations, so I made it a point to use it as little as possible. And joke's on you, I've been using the Banner Saga soundtrack more for this campaign.
Hey, fun story. I met the guy who made that game. Pretty cool dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyways, I'll tell you about it.
Wasn't he a Disney animator? Yeah, that's cool. That lends to the artwork. Anyways, which by the way, Banner Saga. Anyways, also that soundtrack is.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're getting off track.
Yeah.
So
you see me like on stream opening Steam.
You're playing.
You still talking in the background. I'm just like,
like in the background, like you're playing Banner Saga right now.
The overlay changes into like our streaming, like gaming.
like the podcast fades out to Epic Game of Epic Library Epic Games, and like my screen just gets smaller and smaller. Anyways.
Until it disappears with the audio too.
Anyways, no, absorb plenty of media. Read a bunch of books, like read a bunch of literature, watch a bunch of movies. If you actually look at the back of the DM's guide, it gives you a list of fiction that serves as inspiration.
Oh, really?
Yes, it does.
Oh, DM's guide. Sorry, I thought you meant like the adventure itself.
No.
That'd be cool though if like the adventures have like, hey, if you want some inspiration, check out this.
That would actually be really neat. I would love.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
I would love to have that where it's like, oh, for Rime the Frostmaiden, watch this documentary on Arctic biomes or some shit like that. Like that'd be really cool. Wizard of the Coast. This is money on the table.
Take note.
Yeah.
It literally is like one paragraph at the end of the book.
Yeah, just hey, watch this or read this book. That'd be great. But yeah, no, if you look at the back of the DM's guide, there's a ton of books like you can read as inspiration. I think the Player's Handbook has the same thing too. It's something different though. But it's just you absorb that media, and it's important as a DM to read a bunch of literature and watch a bunch of movies and stuff like that. And I mean, don't like watch like fucking Suicide Squad, but like, hey,
it depends on the adventure you're playing.
That is true too. But well, yeah, no, actually, you're totally right. You know what? I'm going to swallow my pride and say you fucking nailed that one. But no, it the reason why that is so that way you can learn story beats and you can learn, okay, this is how I can translate this into that and whatnot, and sometimes setting tone, like if we're having like a kind of shady adventure that deals with a lot of subterfuge and stuff like that, watch Casablanca. The opening scene alone where they show Ricky's bar is like perfection. Like that would be the perfect Thieves Guild kind of a thing.
Or if you're running the Descent into Avernus, watch
Mad Max. Watch Mad Max. Have the entire soundtrack on the adventure. Watch all the Mad Maxes, even the bad ones, because there is some merit in those. But also play video games, or like watch playthroughs of video games or something like that, because I know some people aren't like hardcore gamers like us. Like I can't tell you how many times I saw Heather want to gouge her eyes out when we started talking about Elden Ring, but I mean like absorb that media as well. That way you can kind of understand like how mechanics can pay off, or the feedback of certain mechanics and stuff like that, but also what is fun, how can game mechanics like meld into the narrative and stuff like that. And probably the perfect like melding of the two is play Last of Us, the first one. because that's just that is a beautiful like narrative plus mechanics, smash the two together. Or like God of War or something like that, the most recent God of War.
or Baldur's Gate 3.
Or Baldur's
Look at that mechanics. I was kidding.
Or Baldur's,
literally 5e.
Or Baldur's Gate 3, or Red Dead Redemption if we're going to run a Western campaign, which we will.
Oh my god, that's never going to happen.
Which we will eventually. I am so close to cracking the code.
Are you?
I think I am, but it's like the alchemist's dream. I made this pea glow. I am so close to gold right now, and you don't understand.
Nope, still Pete.
No. Anyways, but yeah, absorb all that media, learn from it, and put that into your game. So, all right.
My next one is player agency is very important, and taking away from players is the worst thing you can do. And I've done it by accident.
I've done it too,
I stumble upon my own shit. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah, I've done that too, and taking away player agency is a really nasty feeling.
Yeah. Not everybody might feel it, but like as a DM, you definitely feel it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm talking about here is just, besides just the players having a stake in your game,
mm-hmm.
It's just having the abilities for all of them to come up with a solution to move the story along, whatever it is. Taking away one of those pillars and not being able to. And I'm not saying taking away like, oh, it just disappeared, doesn't make sense, but like you telling them that, and then they're like, oh, okay, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Their agency is gone. Like, it's solved.
Yeah.
It sucks because like I've done it sometimes when I'm like, this is taking too long. Let me give them a clue, and then I realized that they were really close to fixing it. I just didn't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard because like I want to say it, but I'm like, I can't. I need to stay over here behind the screen.
My biggest sin and taking away player agency is that I like to make jokes about how certain players act, especially if it's the player characters, and there's been a lot of times, especially you with Octavia, be like, no, that's not what he does. I'm like, oh, okay, shit, that's right. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on your toes. That kind, and it's like, and like I am joking, I am just having fun, but yeah, I recognize that also I'm putting characterization on a character that I am not in control of, and that's not for me to do, and that's that's a big,
and that's at the end because you're doing it to everything else. It's so easy to slip into that.
Yeah,
because I've done it a million times as well.
Yeah, and it's that's why when people were like, oh, Aelin's a bad bard, no, he is not. He is not a bad bard. He actually is quite skilled, just nobody wants to listen to the music that he wants to play.
It's only Wonderwall, which is a well-known song.
Yeah, and it is, taking away player agency is just it's such a like disappointing feeling. I felt like, and there are, like you said, there are certain times where the players are going to drive a narrative in a completely different way than what you expected, and sometimes you either have to just be okay with it, or if you're like a less like a less credible or like a less humble DM, sometimes you just gotta swallow your pride and just realize the story's not going to go the way you want it to.
exactly.
and just be like, okay, nope, this is going to happen now, and this is the way. Because if you take the player's agency away from creating the story, why are you even playing D&D? Like,
Exactly.
just play a video
100%.
game or watch a movie or something like that. If you want the story to go the way you expect it to.
Yeah.
Anyways, no, because you're right. Because I feel like I'm the biggest, like, I'm not. Well, I don't know if I am or not, but I feel like I step on a lot of people's toes a lot, and if I do that, I apologize. I'm sorry. 9 times out of 10,
This is actually an intervention. Let me invite everybody else.
I'm just kidding. I don't think your characters actually do that. I just thought it would be funny in this situation. I'm so sorry. Anyways, so my last point is nothing is original, nothing is sacred, and by
we live on the shoulders of giants.
Like an artist, yes. Just if you think this is a cool thing, but you're worried that people are going to call you out because, oh, hey, this is a reference to something, throw it in there anyways. Yep. And if someone's like, oh, you just ripped off blah blah blah, be like, yep.
Yep, own it. It's just like, so what?
Yeah, just roll right into it. And because like you said with Avernus, like, that was straight up Mad Max, and instead of being like, no, it's not Mad Max, you fucking lean into it and played the soundtrack from Mad Max, and only made it better. So, because
listen, no, I was just gonna add to it, like, the fact that, like, unless you're a full-time professional getting paid for DM, and your whole sole job is to come up with original ideas, which, let's be honest, like you said, there's no such thing. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Is Mad Max a great movie? Yes. I'm gonna put it in this fucking game.
Yes, it is. and it's just like, oh, is this character cool? All right, throw him in there.
Throw it in. Yep, exactly.
And just
like a lot of our NPCs and characters are based on just stuff we see on fucking television. Like, you guys are probably gonna see that. Like, in the short adventure I want to run, there's a couple of characters there that are very much like some TV shows and movies.
Yeah, and that's what, and it's like if you like take the time to come up with a truly original character, you're not going to come up with one because all the ideas have been done. That
all of it. There's
6 billion people on this planet, and there's been billions of more that lived before, and like, it's all been done. It's so don't worry about originality. Don't worry about don't worry about getting called out or on something. But also, by that same token, like, I've said it 1,000 times before, and I'm going to keep saying it. That book is not the law. The adventure you're running, like, it's not like the Wizard of the Coast Police is going to kick down your door if you deviate from the plot. You can switch stuff up. You can put one chapter over here, one chapter over there. Just fuck it, just switch up locations. So yeah, no, do things the way you want to do. At the end of the day, are you having fun? Is your group having fun? Then that's a success.
Then you're good to go. Yep. Exactly. No, I couldn't agree more. 100% of the time. I mean, all my names are very original and they've never been done before.
You literally just like you turned on The Witcher for all 20 seconds. Like, that's him. That's my guy.
On my 60th playthrough, I just like, that's it.
It's the second character you meet in the game. It's not even like an obscure character. It's literally the second character you meet in the.
If you play the fucking game, you'll know why he's so special.
But I won't, out of spite now.
I know. That's why you're doing it. All right. Last one for me, and then also last one for you. But so for me, it's put yourself out there to your players. And I'm talking about here, like, and I think this applies to you, and I'm gonna say it, and it might get a little awkward here, but like, you were a pretty reserved person.
Oh yeah.
Like, hardcore. Like, you would not like you. I'm pretty sure running Strahd for the rest of the group. Oh, no, actually before Strahd, running the sky crystal, sky shard,
yeah.
The sky shard, yeah. Running that, I'm pretty sure you were fucking sweating balls.
I might or might not have thrown up beforehand.
I am sure of it. But like, what I'm talking here is like, put yourself out there for players, because it definitely pays up, especially if you're with a good group of friends and a group in a good table. Like, and I'm talking about here like everything: act, doing voices, you know, communicating, like just like be open with the game. Everybody's there to have a good time. Doing silly voices, like if you think they're gonna be, because I'm so self-conscious when I'm trying to do accents because mine's already really heavy. So I don't know how it's gonna turn out if I try to do like a British or like a Russian accent. Like I don't know. So so I try to do it, and let's be honest, like I do it an accent, I completely forget within like minutes.
Yeah,
but
I'm not.
The point is,
I'm
like,
not great with accents either, so that's fine.
yeah. But the point is, like I you know, like I do it, like whatever. It's silly, stupid, doing goblinoid noises and shit like that, like whatever. Because it just makes it more unique, and like people like remember that shit. You know, like it's silly, it's stupid. You might feel like a clown while doing it, but it's fucking D&D. That's the whole point.
Yeah, I mean, as a DM, you're supposed to be a referee, the enemy, but also a storyteller and an actor. Like you're supposed to be all these things. And it actually reminds me of something. I was watching some sort of like critique on a movie or something like that, and they were talking about how this one voice actor for a character, because he was like famous as a singer, like he couldn't let go of his ego enough to actually contribute to the voice acting, and so because of that, his voice acting was stilted and it was emotionless because he was like, oh, I don't need to do this, I'm already famous, you know. But so it's important.
I wonder who this is, but yeah, no, I hear you.
Well, anyways, anyways. Well, I mean, I could just fuck it, I'll just say it. It was for the most recent Lion King movie.
Yeah, your movie sucks. Were you watching that?
Yeah. Did you see it too?
Yeah. So I was like, I think
exactly. Yeah, and so the child singer, Adam said it perfectly. You need to let go of your ego. That way you can put yourself to the role, and it's true. You do need to let go of your, like, there have been many times where I've watched playback of Curse of Strahd and me doing the Vistani voice. I'm like, oh god, that's so fucking embarrassing and stuff like that. But nobody cared. Nobody was like, ha ha ha, look at him doing the voice and stuff like that. Yeah. And for some reason, our most viewed video on the channel is the Blinksy video. So I guess
the Blinksy video.
So I guess people were there for the accent. So you know. So yeah, that. Yeah, you do need to let go of your ego. It's going to be embarrassing. It's going to be an awkward muscle to work out, but you need to let go of your ego, and you need to just put yourself into the role. So you're perfectly right. You got to put yourself out there. You got to make yourself vulnerable. So
and you know, and when people ask like, oh, you know, like I want to be one of those groups that like people do AdSense and they act and all this stuff. It's like, well, it's because most groups that are like that are thespian groups that are formed because they're all wearing like drama class or something. And what is the first thing you do in drama class? Freaking exercises to like break away from your shell and like be like vulnerable in front of everybody.
Yeah. And
that's like people like, it's class, like stuff that people do to learn how to be actors. Like you can't expect to do that. So like if you use a regular Joe and it feels silly to do the stupid voice, like just do the stupid voice. Do the voice. That's the point. And this is a perfect opportunity for you to try like that weird stuff because it's D&D. D&D is weird and silly.
Like if you really want your game to go to the next level, get out of that comfort zone. You know, because there have been some moments in Rime of the Frost Maiden where things have gotten overly emotional and they've gotten for me uncomfortable, not in a bad way. Like I'm not like, okay, we need to put an end to this, but I'm just like, whoa, I was not expecting this much emotion to be laid bare. But that has so far made Rime like its own thing.
Are you talking about the Octavio and Swift thing in the beginning?
The Octavio and Swift thing, like some of the characters having their own little breakdowns, like the Swift and Beery argument on top of the mountain, like those moments there, like
and I can tell you because like the Octavio part, that was like the very first time that like there was ever any emotional weight to anything we ever did in D&D. It was so awkward for me while doing it because I had no idea how to even make the voice.
I was so uncomfortable the entire time, but it was but it was more like I've never done this before.
Yeah. So, exactly. But like now, like it's a lot easier to go into that what's the word I'm looking for? To go into that moment. You know?
You know, so you really do need to break out of your comfort zone. Like try different. It's like it can be something small. It could be like you don't have to do a wacky silly voice like, you know, like the Black Powder. Yeah. You don't need to be the Black Powder guy from Critical Role or something like that. But sometimes just have a character that acts in a way that you're not used to. You know, like
and as a DM, you are the de facto, defuncto, no,
De facto.
the default de facto, yeah, leader.
Yeah.
So the moment you start doing it, the moment you like start like opening up and doing all these things, it leads, not all the time, because it is kind of awkward, but it leads to the rest of the table to start jumping in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if you want that, like, oh, why can't we be like Critical Role? Sorry, buddy, it's your game. Like going back to the previous fucking point of mine, you're gonna have to step up and do it yourself first,
Yeah.
and just hope that somebody picks it up as well.
Yep.
Luckily, I think Robert was an excellent addition to the group, because as soon as he started doing voices and like owning up to the voice, and he's also really good at it, but like everybody started like being like letting loose a little bit.
Yeah. And
breaking away from who they are.
Yeah, and it's this the whole reason why I'm even running this campaign the way it was because I just want to have an exercise of like being like doing something different, so this whole thing for more or less has been like outside of my comfort zone, and so far it's paid off great. And no, you're not gonna grow by doing the exact same thing over and over again. You got to put yourself out there,
I agree 100%. So yeah, I think that's all the ones that we wrote down.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope you guys have learned something there. I mean, it's we're still growing. We're still learning more and more things as we go. These are just the ones that we could think of to talk about. But if you're not learning as a DM, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing. You're not gonna be a master overnight, but if it's like a year down the road and you're still doing things the same way, you need to reflect on yourself.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Definitely. Yes, excellent. So now let's move on to our. Do we have any news? I don't think we have any news. Session highlights.
No, actually, we don't have any news. So yeah, session highlights. It feels kind of weird doing session highlights when the DM for that adventure is not here, but
you can do it as players though.
But given how emotionally scarring being on the Dune series was for Heather, I completely understand why she wouldn't want to be on this podcast anymore.
Me too. I get it.
Yeah. So Heather has been running Ghosts of Saltmarsh, the first adventure, the sinister secret of the super sinister secret of Saltmarsh's specters or something like that.
The spooky house.
That's what it says in parentheses or something like that. I don't know. and so we've been having pirate adventures, and you just dropped a bombshell on me before this podcast where you're just like, you know what? I don't like pirates. I'm just like, what?
I didn't say I don't like pirates.
You said I fucking hate pirates, and every time
I didn't.
You said every time the group asks for a pirate adventure, I intentionally like do something that like I don't know.
You're just making this shit up.
You were talking about how much you hate pirates, and they got what was coming to them.
I'm gonna quote myself here, and I can put it on the stream.
Nah.
Yeah, no, I just said that it's just a subject that I don't really care too much about.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. Like, I'm not, like, I get it, but it's not something that I'm just like, fuck you, pirates! Like, like, yeah!
See, I'm like the opposite.
I don't know, they're awesome. I participate, I still have fun, I still have a blast, but it's just, I don't know, it's just a subject that I'm just like, yeah, cool.
See, I'm the exact opposite. Like give me a pirate adventure and I'm on board. No pun intended. Anyways, so Heather's been running Ghost of Saltmarsh. We are 2 sessions into the Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh. So we've all ran new characters.
Yep. You wanna describe the party real quick?
Yeah.
Before we go into
because
it's such a short, like nobody's gonna.
Alex and myself are playing bards. I am a tiefling bard. He is a Triton bard. Is that correct?
No, a water genasi.
Oh, water genasi. Okay, a water genasi bard. And it's funny because he is a rich boy bard, and I am a poor, broke, owe everybody money kind of bard.
Andrew started his adventure owing everybody like a total of 15 gold to everybody.
Yeah, so it's like two sides of the same coin. You are playing a half orc fighter, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Robert is playing a dwarf for cleric, forge cleric, I believe, or something.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I want to.
I think so because he has blacksmithing tools and stuff.
Yeah, I want to say it's a forge domain cleric. And yeah, so and that's been a wild ride so far.
It has been epic.
It's been something. It's definitely been a departure because we are far from heroic in this adventure. Like
we don't trust each other. We're constantly
we are 10 seconds away from slicing each other's throats, except for Alex. For some reason, Alex is playing you. I feel where
Octavio.
Yeah, no, I mean you. Alex's character is Cicero is the most innocent one of the group, where he actually has like heroic quality, and the rest of us is just like, yeah, let's go save the city or something like that. I can't speak for the rest of the group, so I'm not going to. But I intentionally made my character to not be a hero. Like, he's a coward, he's scummy, he definitely uses people.
I got yelled at because apparently I have a type.
He's also stupid as hell, so he's not a great villain.
My character said the opposite of what I usually play. So he's just like doesn't think, and it's very like unhinged, and it just wants money and getting paid, and he's there only to do one job and one job only.
Yeah, and the real beauty of this adventure is that some of us rolled bad. Like, I think Robert and myself rolled a 5, and we're like, you know what? Let's go with it. But just put it in that dump stat. I don't need wisdom. He doesn't need charisma, so it's fine.
Yeah, I think I'm probably the one who rolled the best, and I still have like 2 negatives. Like my goes from like a nice 18 after all the additions, but then it just like drops down to like a negative, like a 9 or 8.
Mm-hmm. And it's been such a great change of pace because we're just a bunch of actual chuckle fucks,
dude.
We are just like robbing this mansion and checking every fireplace to the point where Heather's like, "There's no fireplace in this room. I'm taking the fireplace out."
And for some reason, we just keep going through this haunted mansion, and it's all we're encountering are snakes and fucking bugs and spiders.
And it got to the point where we're like, I don't think this mansion's actually haunted, guys. Oh my god, there's been so many bugs in this mansion.
So many bugs.
It's disgusting.
So many fucking bugs.
Oh man.
So what's your actual session highlight? Though?
Okay, so session highlight for the first session was us almost getting TPK'd by a bunch of fucking well snakes. Literally the first combat encounter. I think one of them did a crit on Cicero, and like that was it. He was down. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
And it's just like that. And then like we solved that problem. Like the encounter was deadly, but it was short. And then you're like, I'm gonna pull up this bush, and a family of weasels jump on you, and we're like, Gorgon, dude, come on. So now we're fighting weasels, and then after that fight, so that's my highlight, was just the fact that we almost TPK'd in the very first thing. But I just like a little bit of extra note where Robert, who's playing Krista, the female dwarf cleric, she's like, has anyone tried the front door? And we're all smashing windows in instead of going to the front door. And so her and Cicero break off, and it turns out the front door's unlocked the entire time. Oh God.
We're still breaking windows trying to get in.
I have 5 wisdom, people. Okay.
And I'm his bodyguard, so I have to go where he goes.
Yeah. You're not really my bodyguard. You're more like my strong arm person. Because like,
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
you protect me like how the mafia protects a business. Where it's like, I won't break your legs if you keep paying me.
Oh fuck yeah, pretty much.
But my highlight for the second session probably had to be the skeleton room, because so we make it to the basement of this mansion. We find a guy named Ned Shakeshaft. I think that's his actual name or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And he's a quote unquote ghost hunter. And he pulls a Patches from Dark Souls and locks us in this room full of skeletons. And immediately, because me and Alex rolled high, we start thunder waving left and right. So I just imagine the door closes, and just explosions for like the next 12 seconds. And it's like, all right, we're done, guys.
Yeah.
And it really became. I mean, my character did not play it off heroically, but it really became a situation of like, no, we're not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with us.
I also like the fact of how you describe the thunder wave, which is you grab your little. You're
Oh, but also special shout outs for Cicero seeing Sam Belay's fancy hat and like, nope, I'm going for that hat. I don't care about the character. I'm going for that hat and doing a grapple check for the hat and
he fucking
and winning the grapple check.
And then after everything's coming down, I legit like smash this NPC's head with my hammer into his body. But then he's like, stop! And then he like pulls the hat. It's like he makes sure. It's like, wait, what are you doing? I'm about to kill this guy. He's like, oh wait, I put him down and I take off the hat as the hammer's coming down. The hat is very important.
Oh God, that fight got nasty. And
so, yeah, it did. It did. Cause like, okay, so I have a couple of highlights. So my first highlight for the first session was like, from the get go, I was speaking in Spanish to you guys, right? And like Andrew was translating, and it's just translating everything completely wrong. And I'm
now hold on. For those that don't know, you said I'm going to be speaking in Spanish, which is Orcish, and and I told the group I'm going to be translating, but I actually do not know Spanish.
So like a pre-highlight is the fact that he's like translating other things. And like early before the adventure, you asked me, hey, how do you say spoon in Spanish? And I'm like, cuchara. Like that's how you say spoon in Spanish, right? But I have no idea how he's going to use this. So like as like we're doing something, and I speaking and he like drops it, and he says he's trying to say my spoon is too big. Like if anybody here is a Don Hartfeld fan, you'll get it.
Yeah.
But he was trying to say my spoon is too big. What he actually say, and I don't want to say this is like too vulgar because of like our streaming, but he said my vagina is too big. It's just that he didn't use the vagina word. And he's extremely more vulgar in Spanish.
Yeah, apparently I used a euphemism, which is okay, because one, I can't speak Orcish, so that's fine. It only lent credence to how stupid my character is.
It was so good. And then like halfway through the adventure, I started speaking English, and everybody just kind of like stuff's like, wait, what? You can speak common?
My favorite part about that was when I said the third phrase, and you're like, that caused me physical pain.
I can't remember exactly what it was.
It was essentially my character. I admitted in Orcish, my character has caught a lot of venereal diseases. But I didn't know that. I thought it was like directions to the house or something.
So that was my
the biblioteca. Remember when we found?
Oh my god! So in the very beginning, the first like translation, quote unquote, that Andrew does for my character,
well,
donde está la...
well, hold on. I say I'm going to ask him if he wants to help us in this adventure, and I go,
Oh, yeah.
Donde está la biblioteca?
The... And then, like, halfway through the session, we actually find that library, and Krista's like, "Look, we found
It's the biblioteca."
That shit fucking killed me.
Oh man, but then there was one time at the beginning, like before we set off on the adventure, I didn't understand it, but I knew it was bad. You were like saying a bunch of like swear words and
Like
insulting.
really angrily,
yeah, like you were insulting me and calling me all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, you're my best friend too.
And Chris is like, I don't think that's why he said it.
Oh man.
Oh. So that was the first session. That, oh my god, we don't know what we're doing. Every roll, everything is so ridiculous. I'm so sorry, Hannah. You put me and Andrew behind the screen. In front of the screen at the same time.
She knew what she was getting into. She's been doing a very good job reining us in, though. I will admit. So
yeah, I agree.
More power to her.
But then the second session. They have a couple more. The first one was so we make it to the first one is this whole time, for some reason, Eolin, which is Andrew's character, he's like treasure hunting, but he's not really treasure hunting, because like there's like this room where we find a bunch of like chests. So everybody starts opening, and I'm like, at first I'm like, okay, everybody's gonna get like 2 or 3 chests with each chest has like 7 gold in it, right? But Eolin doesn't pay attention, so like I start smashing all of them. So I grab all the gold.
5 wisdom.
I know. Then we get into, or he's the first one that goes into the room with the skeletons before the skeletons became skeletons. Heather describes it as they have golden ribs. So he's like, hell yeah! But then this fight happens, and then other character is like, okay, I call dibs on the ones that I killed. And as he does that, the next turn, my character's like, I do this, and I show it on the map. And as I'm going, I'm picking up each one of the golden ribs. There was like, how many? There was like 8 skeletons. And he didn't pick up a single golden rib the whole time. And then we get to the next room after that, which is more treasure. And everybody's getting their treasure. This is worthwhile, blah, blah, blah. And then he has like a skull of like, no, what was the first thing you said was like, oh yeah, get the books, thinking that the books were not worth anything.
Like, oh yeah, knowledge is the real treasure. It turns out it was.
It was actual real treasure.
Those books are worth like 3 times as much as that skull probably was. So it's just Aelin is not as smart as he thinks he is. And
you played it so well.
Everything that he's doing to try to like outwit the party is backfiring on him. It's so bad.
Yeah. And then we find a secret passageway. We make it into like the caves or whatever. And I'm like, nobody wants to go first. So I'm like, fine, I'll go first. So I start like leading the group at every corner. Every turn I take like arrows. Just I'm like, what the hell? So like, I just imagine my character with 2 arrows sticking out of his shoulders, just turns to the party, and is like, guys, there's bad guys here. So like, we fight the first wave. We go back, take a quick break, come back in, go into the thing. Okay, it's clear. Go around the next corner. 2 more arrows coming out.
Oh my god!
So every time I was making I was scouting move, just arrows. That's how I knew there was bad guys.
And it was like when we got to that final fight, we were out of spell slots. We pretty much had no healing left. Like, this is it. Either we die here, or like this is gonna make or break the adventure. And luckily the dice were with us on that one. Yeah. And
but my favorite part after we get to that last bit is that I'm like in that corner. It's like a corner that there's more dwarves coming from the south, and then somehow Yolan gets in front of me, but it's like blocked in a way that like the bad guys have to like attack him first before they can get to me.
There's no way to maneuver. The cave is narrow,
and the whole time I'm taunting the bad guys like, what are you gonna do? And Yolan's in front of me like, Gorgon, shut up.
It was just one more. I was just like, Gorgon, please stop.
Because they kept trying to shoot me, but they were failing, so I just kept taunting them even more.
I love this dynamic between Gorgon and Aelin, where it's like, do they hate each other? Like, What's going on?
Yeah. It was so good.
Oh.
And then, like, of course, then we get to the bad guy, the bad baddie, and everybody's trying to talk to him, and like the group starts like out of character, like trying to see what they're gonna figure it out. And I'm like, I roll my warhammer two-handed and smash his head in.
Yeah.
People are like, what?
And we're all
So I kill.
No, sorry.
No,
go ahead.
so I killed the main guy, and then there's another one that didn't die. And then people, okay, we're gonna answer. We're gonna question this guy. And as soon as they say that, I'm like, okay, I throw my hand axe at it, and I hit enough to kill it in one go. So everybody's like, what the hell?
Dead men tell no tales. Yeah, that's kind of the problem, Gorgon. That's kind of the fucking problem.
I can't believe I fucking made it. I had like 4 hit points towards the end. Like when we got to that big old fight, I think it was like 7 hit points. Like 2 good hits, and I was gonna go down.
We were doing everything that we could to not die. Like you did your accent surge. You did your like
I used up all my shit.
Yeah, your Orcus endurance and like we were doing everything we possibly could. I mean, it was down to the fucking wire.
Oh my god, when you got hit and you went down to 1 hit point.
I mean,
the guy passes by you and you do an attack of opportunity, but you don't hit.
Yeah,
so you just describe like you're just like on the floor with your rapier. Just,
I mean, it got to the point that all the bards had were vicious mockery and swords. And we're like, all right, this is it. This is all we have. So we're just gonna have to I don't know, insult them to death.
And it kind of worked. And like for some reason, like at some point we reenacted the bodyguard scene. Like why? What a fucking mess.
This adventure so far has been a great change of pace. It has been very decompressing for me.
Yeah,
I've been able to get all the sillies out.
Very chaotic.
Yeah, I love it. This is great. And if things are gonna go the way I think they're gonna go, it's only gonna get worse from here. because Aelin has some plans, and I do not expect them to pay off.
Yes, perfect. Oh man, so. For you guys who want to actually watch us play, we go live on Wednesdays. We have one more session of this Saltmarsh adventure that we're going to play this Wednesday. After that, I'm going to try to run one of my homebrews short adventures that never came to fruition, see how that goes. I know, I have creativity muscles.
Jose has a homebrew? Gasp.
Yeah, gasp. It involves Westerns.
Huh?
But yeah, before I wrap up, is there anything else you want to mention? I think we pretty much covered it. Actually, I think we described both of them.
Yeah, our session highlights just ended up being a narration on the entire thing.
The whole session. Yeah.
No, I'm good.
So the Bandit Night, it says the lessons learned from the DMing. Nothing goes to plan. Yep.
Absolutely not. No, it's just like the famous quote, like no plan survives interaction with the enemy, or something like that. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, Bandit, I feel bad that you just joined because we're about to wrap up. Thank you so much, though. This is our live recording of our podcast. We publish the actual podcast every other Wednesday, so this one will be coming out this Wednesday.
Yep.
Yeah. And but besides this podcast where we just talk about D&D, board games, and just everything tabletop, we have a live play of Dungeons and Dragons that we do on Wednesdays.
We say everything tabletop, but we've just been
it's mainly Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, we have that well has yet to run dry, but don't worry, Starfinder, I have you there.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
But we have a live play on Wednesdays, and we aim to do it every Wednesdays, and for the most part, it's been almost every Wednesday. It says, I work for a podcast network. This is kind of neat. Oh, thank you. Thank you for following. Awesome. Yeah. So this is our live recording of our podcast. We do release the full edited episode on Wednesdays. Please make sure to join us here on Twitch. We also are on Facebook. If you are on Facebook, follow us there too, because we do a dual stream there. And we play Dungeons & Dragons live So make sure to join us to give us comments and make fun of us as we stumble to all the dungeons and all the crazy fuckery that happens in our group because we're insane.
Maybe you'll learn a thing or two. Maybe you'll learn how not to run an adventure.
Yeah. It's more than definitely not how to run an adventure. And then we have we play live video games on Tuesdays and Thursdays. My Tuesdays have been kind of nuts, so I haven't been able to because my Elgato is just big. Every time I try to stream, something happens, and I just can't. I get frustrated.
You've been telling me what's been going on. I'm like, I'm sorry. Dude.
Yeah, it's technical problems, but. Thank you so much. I hope you had a good time. I hope you learned something about our DM tips, lessons, and other things that we've gone through, and hopefully you can apply that to your games. Leave a comments below if you have learned something, and that we'd love to read those. But with that, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a good time and a wonderful rest of your week. For all of you that are mothers, happy Mother's Day. That's what this weekend is. And we'll see you all in 2 weeks with our next live podcast recording.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. You can ask us something, Bandit King.
Yeah, now's the time before we go.
We don't really have this. That was the wrap up for the actual episode.
The door's closing. Get that question out of the door.
I see if you
rapidly typing. Oh shit.
That's the thing with Twitch though. It's like it has like that delayed. So like sometimes like I wrap up and then people are like,
wait. Yeah. Oh, the anticipation's killing me.
You're the only listener we ever had. Please.
That's not true.
He says, if you run homebrew, who is the favorite villain you made?
We actually never ran a homebrew campaign.
Yeah, so Andrew and I have worked on a couple homebrew campaigns. My homebrew campaign is literally like one short adventure.
Yeah.
Well,
okay, we never ran a homebrew campaign, but I have made some, and I do have a villain I particularly like, but I also plan on running it once I refine it and put maps and stuff like that. So I'm not going to really spill the beans on that. But
he says villains are his vibe, his big vibe for him. He says that he's a specialist in the subject.
Yeah,
it's funny because like my villain in the game is pretty straightforward because like the one I'm gonna run is more of like a moral dilemma. The villain is you.
Humanity is the real monster here.
I'm making you take a look at yourself and reflect.
Yeah, the big homebrew adventure that I have in the works that's been stewing for like the past couple years.
Is it the Big Shark?
No. It has definitely been villain focused. Like oh hey, this is the villain, and like premieres like session 1, and he is not behind the scenes. Like who he is. So
okay.
Yeah,
because you the way you introduced a villain for the Sky Shard adventure that you ran for us was, I mean, we all still remember it. Mm-hmm. And it's been like 5 years.
I know. I've honestly been thinking about going back to that too.
we're still waiting for that
conclusion for session 2.
Session 2, 5 years later.
It's like a TV pilot that's like actually good, but just didn't have enough viewership.
Right. To get it done.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right. Well, Big Bandit Night. Sorry that we are just about to wrap up here. We would love to have you throughout the whole episode. But with that, you all guys have a wonderful rest of your week.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.